just off the fact that Alpine's a complete mess. Like, I don't think I'd want to go anywhere near that team if I was Carlos Sainz. Okay, so yes, Carlos Sainz, he's being too wishy-washy. His options are steadily declining, with everyone picking their drives for the next season. Pierre Gasly securing a spot at Alpine. Aston Martin's now locked up. Mercedes looks like it's going to be Kimi Antonelli. Red Bull's locked up. I mean, there's Audi Sauber doesn't look that appealing. Haas look like they're locking up soon as well. What is Carlos Sainz going to do? Where's he going to
I
go?
don't know, but he's annoying me.
Yeah, he's not choosing, is he?
He's not choosing. Like, we're expecting something around the Spanish Grand Prix. Still nothing. Like,
Yeah.
it's starting to get a bit tedious. Like, he doesn't know what to do. Like, anywhere he goes now is going to be a step down for Ferrari. And I don't think he's accepted that in his head yet.
No.
I think he needs to accept he's going back to a team that was like McLaren when he was at McLaren.
Yes, he does.
And I don't think he's quite accepted that he's going to have to do that yet. I think he's trying to be too picky in terms of seeing what team is the best challenger for a podium.
Or has the best project.
Or has the best project, obviously 2026 regulations.
Yeah.
I can see it's hard for him. I mean, Audi is a little bit of more of an unknown quantity to an Alpine and a Williams, for example.
Yeah.
But it's hard. I mean, the rumours are that Alpine as well are looking at ditching a Renault engine, and a Ferrari engine could be a potential.
Well, that's something that I wanted to touch on when it comes to his decision. But in terms of him not choosing, I think if I was Carlos Sainz, obviously hindsight's a beautiful thing, but if you're Carlos Sainz, as soon as you get released from Ferrari, I'm straight on the phone to Mercedes for a straight swap.
I'm harassing Mercedes and Red Bull, yeah.
Straight away, I'm there. Like, hey, listen, I've just been dropped. Is there something we can work out? Is there a straight swap we can do? And get that locked in ASAP, because you're Carlos Sainz. You are coming to the tail end of your career. I can't believe we're saying that about a driver that is, well, we considered a youngster a few years ago. But in comparison to everyone else on the grid, you're one of the older ones. He wants to be winning now. He can't wait around for 5 years just for something not to turn out. Like Audi. So, but now he's not giving himself that chance. Yeah, it is. It's really annoying
to see, because now I can just see a steady decline of Carlos Sainz, and he's not going to be able to live up to the ability that we can see.
Yes, I 100% agree. So let's move on to his options then. We mentioned Williams and Alpine being the two left that seem likely. Audi is still an option, but it's not.
Yeah.
It seems like it's less looking like...
it's more of the name that hangs around, isn't it? Audi Sainz together, yeah.
So... explain to me then the Williams, not the Williams, the Alpine dropping their Renault engine. What's the latest we have on that?
So what we've got on that is obviously Alpine are not happy with Renault, which they're not happy with that.
What I think's really weird with that is they are Renault.
Well, they are Renault, but they're not happy with Renault engine. Everything in Alpine is just...
it's all going to pot.
Yeah, so they're not happy with their engine. They want to get rid of the engine.
Yes.
They're obviously looking at many teams, but the latest coming out of it is they're looking at Ferrari.
Yeah.
And having a Ferrari engine, which could be ultimately significant in Sainz's choice.
Yeah.
Having a Ferrari engine, it's an engine that he knows.
Yeah.
He knows it's quick.
Yeah.
For that matter, Williams obviously it's Mercedes engine, so it's not a bad engine, but it seems to have just been that Ferrari engine's been that step above in terms of straight line speed for the past several years.
It has been, but if I was Carlos Sainz personally, I'd be looking at a Mercedes engine for 2026, because Mercedes. Yeah, because I think you have to. I think you have to look at the track record of Mercedes and what they've done in the engine department, considering where they were in 2014 and how that engine dragged along most of the customer teams as well.
That was ridiculous, yeah.
it was ridiculous. I'd be looking at that, and I'd be going, okay, so the regulations, they're not just engine. There is a few aerodynamical regulations, but it's
Yeah.
majorly to do with the engine. If I'm
It's,
Carlos
it,
Sainz,
yeah, it's,
yeah. So if I'm Carlos Sainz, I'm looking at that and I'm going, okay, based on this track record, I think my best shot probably is a Mercedes, a team with a Mercedes engine.
yeah.
Williams is probably the more favourable option.
Yeah, but you see, if I'm also Carlos Sainz, I'm looking at the fact that there's a guy who knew the Mercedes engine inside out. There's a guy that knows all the regulations around 2026 of what Mercedes are going to produce. He's been proposed what Mercedes have. He's seen what Mercedes are going to do. He's seen the engine, the potential, what it has, and go, "Fuck you, I'm going Ferrari." That's Lewis Hamilton. You need to remember, Lewis Hamilton has gone from Mercedes. He will know what Mercedes are doing 2026 engine. He knows it all and gone Ferrari. He's ditched Mercedes at the end of it. If Lewis Hamilton thought Mercedes were going to produce a really good engine in 2026 and had the belief of that, I don't think he would have left.
Yeah, you bring up a very good point.
Like, Lewis Hamilton knows what Mercedes are producing engine terms, and he's gone.
Yeah.
Which Mercedes fans, I'm sorry, doesn't fill me with much hope that Mercedes engine is going to be great. He's been proposed with Mercedes engine 2026 and a Ferrari engine 2026. What team's he going to next year? Ferrari.
Yeah. Yeah, you make a good point. I mean, it's. I guess Lewis Hamilton leaving isn't the best indicator, but I mean, you have to hedge your bets, don't you? I mean, it's one of them. You can't rely on a driver move being your final deciding factor.
No, by no chance, no.
But if I'm Carlos Sainz, given the options that he has left, I think Mercedes, anything that ties a team to Mercedes is the best way forward, I think.
Ultimately, it's a question of what engine are Alpine with. If Alpine are with Renault still, you stay well clear.
Yeah.
But if they are with Ferrari, it is a bit of food for thought, really, isn't it? Like, why has Hamilton left Mercedes to go to a Ferrari for 2026 when 2026 regulations are coming up with these engine regulations? Like, why has he done that? There's a reason. We've got to remember, Lewis Hamilton's not stupid.
No, of course not.
There'll be a reason, and that reason will be surrounding the engine and the regulations that he's gone to Ferrari. And that's got to be weighing on Carlos Sainz's mind as well. Like, does he think that the Mercedes engine's not amazing?
Well, that's the thing. Once again, also on the Alpine thing as well, by the way. I know there's a potential that they might have Ferrari engines. There's a potentially might have Mercedes engines. I think I'd pick Williams over Alpine anyway, just off the fact that Alpine's a complete mess. Like, I don't think I'd want to go anywhere near that team if I was Carlos Sainz.
Alpine are a complete mess. I think we're seeing now. I think as soon as Ocon goes, we'll see Alpine like a bunch of flowers, to be honest, flourishing.
Oh, I'm not too sure about that. I think Bruno Famin's absolutely wild. It's an absolute wild card as a team leader, and they have brought in Flavio Briatore as well, who has that experience. But I remind everyone, Flavio Briatore is a part of the biggest scandal in F1 history. So, if you want someone to settle your team down and get things going, this is probably the worst man with the worst reputation. No, you've got him and Bruno Famin and Esteban Ocon in the same team. What do you think's going to happen? If I'm Sainz... No, I'm staying far away. I'm not going anywhere near him, man.
It is a terrifying prospect. However, I don't know, Williams just looks shit.
Yeah, they do, but once again, Williams always do this. It's always been a thing. Well, since the turbo hybrid era anyway. Williams, the year before, are absolutely dog. Can't get anywhere. Can't seem only a few points per season. New regulations. Something changes with the engine. Bang, Williams are there. It happens. It happens.
It does happen. But then a year or two later, bang, Williams being lapped again.
Yeah, I mean they were nowhere in the old regs. The new regs that just came in 2022, they did make strides forward.
But
2014, they were podium contenders. So I mean, Williams always seem to somehow get somewhat stuck in new regs when they come in. So
whereas Alpine, Renault, like credit where credit's due. Obviously, they've had a difficult start to this season, but they do pick up podiums like at some point in the season.
I know. I don't know how they always do it. They do it every season.
They always churn him off somehow. Like Ocon won a race. Gasly and Ocon both got podiums last year.
Yeah.
Like
Gasly got 2.
Went through that streak of getting podiums when he was with the Renault.
Oh yeah, Daniel tore it up in the Renault.
Like Sainz, didn't he get a podium while he was at Renault?
Yeah, possibly.
You got to remember, Sainz knows the team a little bit.
Yeah, I wouldn't go anywhere near there.
So,
but anyway,
it's difficult. Like over, as you say, maybe 1 or 2 seasons, William could be your best bet. But if he wants a multi-year contract and planning to stay there, because obviously at the end of the day, Sainz has should have another at least 5 years in him.
Yeah.
So, will he get another move after this? Or can he just keep churning it off? Like, if you're going to churn something off, your better bet is a Renault than a Williams.
Well, the interesting thing about Renault is that you expect Alpine to be fighting for championships. I know it sounds ridiculous to say that, and newer fans of Formula One will be like, "What? But they genuinely should be. Like, they are Renault. They're a works team. They are on the level of Mercedes.
Soon
Ferrari.
to not be a works team.
Soon to not be, but they should be fighting for championships. I mean, they won with Fernando Alonso in 2005 and 6. They
donks though. Like, that's almost 20 years now.
Yeah, I know, but they've since then have also still been consistently more towards the front of the field. They've almost been there.
They're the most consistent team in terms of picking up a podium here and there.
Well, I don't know. They did go through that period with Maldonado and Grosjean where they were just absolutely wank. But apart from then, they have been pretty. I mean, remember when Kimi Räikkönen went to Lotus, as it was known, and
but they are pretty consistent in terms of producing a car that if something went wrong, they'll be third.
Yes.
I mean, this year's not turned out that way at the moment.
I mean, it's still good. They've somehow gotten better. I don't know how.
I wouldn't bet against the Gasly podium
at some point.
At some point this year.
No, potentially, and I mean they should be fighting for championships, but their philosophy, the way that they do things, has I think ultimately held them back for so many years. But either way, where will Carlos Sainz end up? Who knows? Let us know in the comments down below. Subscribe for more Formula One videos, and we'll see you next week.